Ms. Sunga, let me begin with you. As I said, we're not really prepared legally, morally, and normatively for this changing face of war, especially with robots and lethal autonomous weapons and others. The concerns are being voiced, but what measures are being, if at all, being taken?
Well, first of all, I'd like to challenge the premise of your question just a little bit. I mean, it makes a lot of sense what you said, and I agree with it that new technology is certainly pushing the envelope of civilized conflict and war, which sounds like an irony. But there are the laws of war, and those do apply in terms of conflict. But the difficulty is that I wouldn't say that we are in a legal vacuum. And that is because the Geneva Conventions apply in terms of armed conflict situations. So even if there are UAVs and drones, etc., that are being used, that doesn't mean that the primordial, universally accepted principles of armed conflict and hostilities in wartime don't apply. In fact, they still do. What are these? Just very briefly. One is that to distinguish between civilian and military targets, number one. Number two, you can't be attacking hospitals and schools, etc. Number three is proportionality, and there are others out there that are in the Geneva Conventions. More worrying, and you touched on this, I think, extremely well in your introduction, is what about outside of armed conflict and outside state actors that don't follow the Geneva Conventions? And I think there we certainly are in a very gray area between war and peace and blurred situations, and that's much more difficult. So I think that's correct.